Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another video. So in this video, we're going to go over more of the intermediate stages of gearing. If you're here from my first video, then this is the follow-up to that. If you have not watched the first video, you can check it down. I'll probably just pin it in the comments because I know I'm going to forget to put it in the description. And one of you guys can remind me to pin the first video in the comments because I'm going to forget that I even said this. But basically what I'm going to go over in this guide is how to progress from Wyvern 9 into Wyvern 11, because this is where a lot of people this is where I left off of my last stage, right? So you went through, you got some of your abyss gear, you got some labyrinth gear, you got some of that free gear that's really nice. You progress through the story, you got a decent Wyvern team going for stage 9. Now you want to make it to stage 11. The first thing I want to bring up is to make sure you're running an optimal Wyvern team, because there's probably some weird teams that can make it to 9, but will not be able to do 11. Typically, General Purgus is by far the MVP frontline. If you have General Purgus, that's who you want to build. You absolutely want to build General Purgus and use him for Wyvern. He's the best frontline unit for Wyvern in the game. Hands down. He makes your runs fast, nice and smooth. You don't have to worry about shit. Everything just dies super fast. This is my Wyvern 13 team. We'll just take it into Wyvern 11 real quick so you can just see the efficiency behind using General Purgus while I just kind of talk about this a little bit. So the theory behind getting to Wyvern 11 here is, you have your front line to soak up damage. You have your defense breaker. Having an attack buff is nice, and General Purgus also provides that for the first wave clear, and SSB is a great unit for that. Hopefully a lot of you guys have SSB. If you don't, there's other options. The best free-to-play option is probably Clarissa. And as you notice, I'm using a level 50 Alexa here, because Alexa is one of the premier units to getting into Wyvern 13. Because Wyvern 13, you need debuffs. So try to structure your Wyvern 11 team to where it can continue getting stronger into Wyvern 13. That's just how you're going to want to do it. So you need debuffs. So into the defense break, target buff up, poison. See, I got 5 debuffs up here. I got full unity set on my Terranor guard here. See, I almost killed that Wyvern before he got another turn. And this is the team I'm using. This is a great team to use for Wyvern, and it will work fantastic in Wyvern 13. So if you can run this team, I would recommend doing it. Other options are Furious in the place of Terranor Guard, running the target, Song of Stars. But basically, there's Wyvern 13 guides out there and Wyvern 11 guides out there. Follow one of those, but try to make your team in line with going from Wyvern 11 to Wyvern 13. This is more so about gear, right? So if you're doing Wyvern 9, you probably have that free health set on your front line unit, right? Pretty much maxed out, if not maxed out. And the struggle with getting to here is you might be lacking damage. Your front line might die, and usually that's because you're lacking damage, because the Wyvern has a ramping up damage effect. So the longer it takes, the harder he's going to start hitting your frontline team. So making your frontline tankier, it's going to help a little bit, but not as much as you just killing the damn thing faster, right? And one of the best ways to progress from here to here, people overlook it, is speed tuning. That's why I say General Purgus is a really good unit, because you don't have to worry so much about speed tuning, because he puts he gives you the CR off of his S2, right? This right here. So whenever he gets hit, he just boosts everybody up, and they all get a turn after Wyvern anyways. So I just have to make sure my team goes in the right order. See, I want to make sure my SSB gets the attack buff to clear the wave 1, and my Alexa cleans up a unit, and then it turn cycles, and then they clean up the other unit. Typically, if my Terranor guard lands a defense break on one of the lizardmen on the first wave, it'll die to my SSB's S3. Everything will die, and then I'm good going in to kill the Wyvern. But my turn order on the Wyvern is very important. See, I have my defense breaker tuned fastest, so he goes first. And this is what you want to do. So he's at 154, right? And then my SSB is at 125, and my Alexa, which is my damager for Wyvern, is like 117, 115. She didn't even have a chest piece on there, so there you go. I still killed it that fast. But yeah, her chest piece is on Jakise right now, so I'll swap that back over. But yeah, this is what my Alexa looks like for Wyvern. You need the high effectiveness. Joker scales fantastic with crit damage. The more crit damage you have, this stat does not matter on Alexa. You want to cap crit damage or get as close to it as possible. You want to make sure you're critting every time, and you want to make sure you have 65 effectiveness going into Wyvern 13. Once you have that gear, and as you can see here, I'm using, this is a PvP piece. This is a PvP piece. I'm pretty sure this is a free piece of gear. And then on top of that, you know, I just have some other destruction pieces. We just got a free destruction set. So if I go by set, where's that thing at? You could probably build your Alexa to do very similar damage to mine. You just want to make sure you have the plus 30 Joker, and you're good to go with the defense breaker and everything. See, yeah, this chest piece here. Hopefully yours rolls better than mine. There's a helmet as well, I believe. Maybe not. Maybe I got rid of it because it sucked. Or rolled really bad, probably. Here's the weapon. See? So you can do the same thing that I'm doing here. And then I run a hit set with a shit ton of effect. Like, this piece of gear is trash, right? But it's perfect for what I need her to do. Tons of effectiveness. She needs the effectiveness, and I'm running the hit set. So this is how you want to build your Alexa. I guess this is kind of turning into a pseudo Wyvern guide, but this is mainly about progressing through Wyvern, so why not? I'll like in discussing the kind of gear you want to use. So I guess this is still falls under the line of a gearing guide. I'll show you what kind of gear you probably want to look to roll to get, but when you have access to this free gear, which can fill up all of these slots here, and then you're just looking for, you know, a boot filler. And you're not even looking to get stats this high for Wyvern 11. This is a Wyvern 13 built Alexa. She shreds through Wyvern 13. You don't need stats this high to do Wyvern 11, so this is just kind of a baseline to show you. You can use Sigrid as well, but personally I think Alexa is way better for Wyvern 13. She's way more consistent. You can make Sigrid work, but typically those are your two damage options. Everyone has Alexa. Everyone can get Terranor Guard. I would just recommend going with those. If you don't have the General Purgus, that's where it gets a little iffy. Other options like Crow isn't bad. You can obviously do the Angelica frontline. I ran that very long time for Wyvern 11. I didn't have the same exact team comp, but if you have... Oh, my SSB didn't have a ring on either for that Wyvern run. So I did that shit extremely gimped, and I still almost killed it in one turn. That's hilarious. But, yeah. Put the ring back on. It's also on JQC. But, yeah. You could use, like, to replace SSB, you can use Clarissa. Like, there's free-to-play options out there to get into Wyvern. So let's stop talking about, like, what kind of team you can use. I went over it a little bit. Just make sure you're using ice units and General Purgus. You might be able to use Tamarin as well. Tamarin's not terrible for the front line, but she's not going to be great going into Wyvern 13. So if you don't have General Purgus, I would just recommend going with a full ice team. Run Angelica as your front line. Run Deanna as your front line. You know, whatever you have. If you have other options, let me know down in the comments. A good way to help keep Angelica alive first getting in to Wyvern 11 is... run a knight next to her with Arius, so it soaks up some of the damage. I ran Rose, because she ran an attack buff when I first got into Wyvern for the first time. But I didn't have nowhere near the gear that is available to you guys now. So, to wrap this up, like I just kind of talked about getting into Wyvern, we're going to go do a little bit of crafting here. Because your standards of rolling gear are going to be way different than mine. So, let's just craft some gear. Blue gear is okay to take, I think, in the form of, like if you get a pair of speed boots, with like crit damage and attack on them, they're blue speed boots, it might not be a bad idea to roll them, because your crafting materials are way more limited when you're collecting resources from Wyvern 9, right? So just consider that while you're doing it. Same thing with rings, like health main stat rings, stuff like this. Like if this was on a speed set and your front line is dying, this like I would roll this maybe if it was on a speed set. If it rolls high defense, then this is an okay tanky ring. Like, you can bring it up to plus 15. When you don't need it anymore, you can turn it into cubes and recycle it, basically. So, like, blue gear is very usable when you're earlier in the game and you're trying to progress into the late stages. I wouldn't roll, like, left side gear. I wouldn't roll a sword or a helmet or a chest piece that's blue, ever. There's just no point in doing it. And in rare, and like rolling these, it's very rare. Like, they have to have pretty ideal stats for you to want to roll them. Like, this is an example right here. If this was a attack main stat ring, it wouldn't have the flat. But yeah, this is just like optimal things. Optimal, like, these numbers are nice to look at, or these subs together. So this is what you're really looking for. Same thing with stuff like this. There's always a chance that you can get some godly gear, right? So, like an example, I like flexing this ring. Like, you could get some godly gear out of Wyvern 9. It's possible. It's probably not going to happen. Getting pieces like this are like 1 in thousands, okay? So, like, especially when they roll high. So, you can't be so picky with what you're going to roll when you're trying to progress, is what the biggest thing I want you to take from this video. You can probably get straight into Wyvern 11 with just free gear, to be honest. I haven't tried it. I'm not sure how easy it is now, because they give you a lot of free shit now. A lot of free sets. A lot of really good free sets that you can easily use to get into Wyvern 11. So if you're struggling getting from 9 to 11, it's probably because your gear's not upgraded all the way. It's something wrong with your tuning. Check your speed tuning. Make sure your defense breaker is going before your damage dealer all times. Just give them a 10 speed gap, 11 speed gap. Make sure you have the effectiveness to land those defense breaks. RNG is going to screw you. You're going to miss defense breaks and you're going to fail runs. It's going to happen. If you're sitting there paying attention to your runs and you're just getting into Wyvern 11 and it's not as successful as you'd like it to be, if you're doing something on this monitor and then you got this monitor over here, you can't see my mouse over there, and you're running some Wyvern, just go over there and hit your Archie. Like, I farmed Wyvern for like 3 weeks straight on like Wyvern 11 without being able to completely auto it. You guys can do it too. It's just hit Archie if you're doing something else. Yeah, it's gonna suck. Even if your success rate is only, 20, 30%, at least when you do a batch of 20, like if you're not even paying attention to it, you're gonna have some completed runs there. You just want to make sure you're getting everything optimal. I don't think getting the Wyvern 11 is that hard anymore. So you just want to make sure you're doing everything right, essentially. I really don't know what crafting is going to do to help you at this point, like me showing you. That's more of like Wyvern 13, like what gear to look for, like going from 11 to 13. The gear difference is pretty nutty. I guess we could briefly talk about expeditions. Make sure you're doing your expeditions. I'm really slacking with them, but this is how like where you'll start getting your 90 materials. Don't just go in 90 everything that you get. Don't just go in 90, your blues and stuff like that. Save your resources for 90 gear for something that's really good. Just go in here, hit embark, invite all the people you can. If you don't have a lot of friends, just do rank 1. Come in here and then start collecting these. This stuff's really important. This is where the game has went, is for gearing. It's a tier higher than it was when I was at the stage of the game that you're probably at right now. So you have a longer ways to go than I did when I was in your shoes. So, but you have a lot more things to benefit you. A lot of free gear. Just make sure you have the optimal team. I know I've said that probably 100 times this video, but that's just like the most important thing for you to do. Just make sure your team's optimal. You can probably get to Wyvern 11 with free gear. I think in the next guide, I'll go a little bit more depth into substats and stuff, because right now I think you already have the gear to reach Wyvern 11 with all the stuff that you've done from the previous guide. You have your PvP gear, you have Abyss gear is not so great unless you're using broken set. Like Abyss gear sucks, so don't worry too much about that. But Adventurous Path gear, that can get you to Wyvern 11. Free gear can get you Wyvern 11. Just make sure you max all that shit out. Make sure you're speed tuned. Like, I have to reiterate this stuff so much, so you guys, it's in your head. You know what to do. Okay. It's repetition. That's what gets everything good, right? So to end this off, let's do another Wyvern 11 with my full gear. And just to show you, like when you have everything geared properly, I know my gear level is probably way higher than a lot of people's, but it's the speed tuning in the comp makes a huge difference. But yeah, in the next video, I'll go more in depth into what gear to roll and etc. Right? Because right now, it's not going to benefit anybody too much. Look at the substats. It's okay to roll a couple of health main stat right things, you know, for blue. Like if you need a health or you need an attack ring, etc. But I don't think you really need to. Not anymore. Not at the state the game's in now. You just really don't need to do that no more. This run actually went slower because I killed I killed the first wave even faster. So my Alexa actually used S3. But yeah, Wyvern just kind of falls over. I haven't done Wyvern 11 in a long time. It just kind of falls over now. It's hilarious. Oh yeah, and pet. I didn't even think about that. Work on your pet. Just make sure you're doing this every day. And eventually, you get the hunt pet. Right, I still don't have an S thing here. That's not a big deal. I wanted it to say ass, because I think pet system is ass. But, okay, I'm going to wrap this up. It probably wasn't the type of guy that you were thinking it is. Like, I know a lot of people are really confused on what kind of gear to roll. But at this stage of the game, I don't think you really need to worry about that too much. If you see a really good piece of gear, and you're like, I should roll this, then you probably should roll it. If you're unsure whether you should roll something or not, you probably shouldn't. It's probably the best way to look at it, right? I mean, there are pieces of gear that are like hidden gems. Gear that's just weird, right? And you're not sure if you should roll it or not. Stuff like that, just hold on to it. You might need it for a different unit later. That's the best advice I can give for that. Like, perfect example. Like, look at these boots. I saw the stats and I was like, huh, these are not terrible. You know, there's units with low base attack. Like, these are nice. A lot of people probably wouldn't roll these. These sat in my inventory forever because I didn't know, like, do I have a unit that can use these? You know, there's units out there with low base stats, you know, and it's coupled with a decent sub. And then I rolled it and it turned out to be perfect for Carrot, you know? And then same thing with my boots on my Violet here. Like, nobody would expect to roll these. They would craft these and they would be like, oh, fuck. Flat defense main stat. Look at these subs. Urgh. And they wouldn't roll it. Keep an eye out for stuff like this. It could turn out really nice for very niche units. If you're unsure, hold on to it. You might find a place for it later. Don't hold on to every single thing that you get. If you're leaning more so like, I don't want to roll this, just get rid of the piece of gear. Don't hold on to it. That's the best advice I can give when it comes to that. And then sometimes you'll just get crazy gear, right? And it'll roll like shit, like this one. This was a 5-speed base. Like, it had 5-speed base on it, and it rolled only 17. Yeah, this could have been a lot nicer. But you can find gear that's just like nutty, you know? Make sure, yeah, I'm progressing through Hell Raid too. Make sure you're doing Raid. At this point, you should be getting into Raid. I'm not going to go in depth, but there's gear that you should get out of there as well. You can buy, like getting these chest pieces is pretty nice. I got max enhance up here. These. Don't be afraid to buy these because they're not bad. You know, the way you could look at this, it's one piece of speed gear that you don't have to worry about crafting as much. It's got all the nice subs on it. It doesn't carry crit damage, but you know, this can roll a bunch of different ways, and you can put it on a bunch of different kind of units depending on how it rolls. It's a very diverse piece of gear. Don't worry about buying the immunity sword. It sucks. Just grab a couple of these, and then once you get tired of them not rolling good, then start grabbing the chest to get some extra mola. But start grabbing these, and then, you know, start working towards your... There's hell raid guides out there and raid guides out there. This is about gear, so I'm going to stop rambling because I've already been rambling for 20 minutes. And I did a video before this where I was rambling for another 20 minutes. So my mouth is starting to get dry, and I'm thirsty, and kind of want to go to bed. So, with that being said, if this helped you out, let me know, because this video I'm a little unsure about. It didn't exactly go the direction I had in my head. So, yeah. I thought I was going to do some more gear crafting in here, but looking at it objectively, it's like you probably already have what you need to get to Wyvern 11 from Wyvern 9. You probably already have it. So, in all honesty, you could probably pass out on the blue gear. Just save your resources. But it's up to you. If you're looking, if you get a nice blue piece, you want to roll it a couple times on this side, go for it. Don't touch blue on this side ever. Just turn it into ice cubes. If it's hit set, use it as enhancement fodder or sell it. And yeah, with that being said, yeah, definitely let me know if this helped you out at all. This is more like an advice video, not necessarily like a, I don't know. Just let me know if it helped you. You can do that by dropping a like. Let me know down in the comments. If you're new here, sub. I'm saying at the end of every video now, like, if you make it to the end of the video and you're not a sub, what are you doing? Only my subs are allowed to watch to the end of the video, so just go ahead and hit the sub button. Because people that aren't sub, they click the video, they hear my intro, and then they go watch something else. But if you actually watch the whole thing, you're a dedicated viewer. I appreciate you. So hit the sub button if you're not subbed already. Well, let's get this number up and let's do some more giveaways and shit. I want to give back to you guys. So, yeah, with that being said, I guess I'm flexing my Violet here with his high defense. But, yeah, let's get out of there. And, yeah. In the next video, I will cover rolling gear a little more in depth than I kind of just talked about a little bit in here. We'll do some crafting in the next video. I do those videos so often, you know, every so often. But, excuse me. I'll try to help you guys determine what kind of gear you should roll. It's going to kind of follow the same advice I just gave. You know, you should be, like, eventually you'll get to the point where you'll look at something and you'll be like, this is trash. And then you'll look at something and be like, huh, this has a niche use. I might be able to use this somewhere. And then you probably already have the ability to look at a piece of gear and see that it's insane. I think everybody has that already. It's finding the niche pieces and finding the bad pieces that are a little, you know, unless it's completely flat and you're like, oh, this is shit. It's really just like finding the niche pieces, like, who can use this, you know? And maybe that'll be another video I do, like, who can use this gear? And I'll go through like all the different types of gear that you could use, you know, flat stats. If you're interested in seeing something like that, let me know. That could be another video I'll do. But I'm gonna get the fuck out of here because I'm still rambling. Like and sub and comment. Okay, bye.